Alright, welcome. We just want to talk about DHCP for a minute, the dynamic host configuration protocol and enabling it. So most times we would do this on a Windows server for our network environment, okay? And sometimes though, we may want to isolate a particular subnet and we don't want it going all the way to like down to the server and to reach the DHCP server. We might want to do this locally on the router that is on that segment. So in order to do that, we would enable a DHCP server on that local router. If you think about it at home, you get your IP address from your modem or router that came from your internet provider, your ISP. So we're just going to take a look at this real quick on a Cisco router. And let me pull up this interface. So here we're in the command line interface. This happens to be a 2911 router. I do believe, or 2960. What am I on? It doesn't matter. Okay. So I want to start with, I'm going to type in enable, and then I'm going to do config T to get into global configuration mode. Now I'm going to type in IP DHCP, and I want to add an excluded dash address, and this is going to be my default gateway, and that's going to be a static address which doesn't change. So I'm going to give it 192.168.1.1, and I'm going to hit enter. So now I've excluded that address from being in the pool. So next thing I want to do is create a pool. So I'm going to say IP DHCP pool, and I need to give it a name. So we're just going to call this my pool. And now that I'm into that mode, I need to give it a network we're working with. So I'm going to say network, and that's going to be 192.168.1.0, and I need to give it a subnet mask, 255.255.255.0. That is a class C address, 254 addresses. So actually I now have 253 because I just excluded one of them, which is my gateway. So now I need to actually tell it what my default gateway is. So I'm going to say default dash router, and I'm going to give it that address, 192.168.1.1, and hit enter. Okay, so there's a little bit more information I need to give it. I need to give it my DNS, right, my domain name server. So I'm going to say DNS dash server. And let's just use Google, all right, 8.8.8.8. So we're going to give it a public DNS. And I also have to have a domain name. So I'm going to tell it domain dash name, and let's call this my domain dot local. I don't actually have to have a public domain to do this, right? So I can do it with domain dot local, and so now it's pretty much set up. There's if we want to actually start it, so let's do exit and back into configuration mode, and let's say service DHCP. So now we have enabled it. So let's do end and get back to here, and we can check it. We can say show IP DHCP pool, and we can see right here that we have in fact set up our pool. We have one that's used, and our pool goes from that 1.1 all the way through 254. We have one excluded address, which is our gateway, and the rest are all up for lease. All right, so that's just how simple that is. All right, hope you enjoyed it. Hope this helped you some, and peace out.